117 settlers disappeared. Not a single body was ever found. The word Croatoan was carved into a wooden post. 400 years later, historians still can't agree on what happened. You'll learn the 4 leading theories behind the mystery. You'll see the physical evidence scientists dug out of the ground. You'll learn why this mystery might not be a mystery at all. Roanoke isn't folklore. It's a real cold case. Archaeologists and climatologists have quietly cracked open new evidence. Tree rings deny about what really happened here. 16th century gun parts have been pulled straight from the sand. A paper in the journal Science ties the colony to extreme weather. Forget the campfire version. This is the actual research. In 1587, Sir Walter Raleigh raced to beat Spain to America. He sent 117 men, women, and children across the Atlantic. They landed on Roanoke Island, off North Carolina's coast. A pregnant settler, Eleanor Dare, arrived among the group. She gave birth to Virginia Dare weeks after landing. Virginia became the first English child born in the Americas. For a moment, the colony actually looked hopeful. Then food supplies ran dangerously low. Relations with local Algonquian tribes grew tense and strained. England had already burned a native village earlier on. That grudge never fully disappeared between the two sides. Leader John White sailed back to England for supplies. White was also Virginia Dare's own grandfather. He promised to return to the colony within months. He didn't return for 3 long years. White returned on August 18, 1590, Virginia's 3rd birthday. Everyone in the colony was completely gone. The settlement wasn't burned or destroyed by a storm. It was dismantled deliberately, like someone packed up on purpose. A new protective fence had been built around the site, carved into a post. 9 letters, Croatoan. No distress cross was carved above the word. Croatoan was a nearby island, now called Hatteras. It was also the name of a friendly local tribe. White believed his people had simply relocated there. He wanted to sail to Croatoan and find them immediately. A hurricane stopped him before he could try. He never got another chance to search for them. White died in Ireland, never seeing his family again. The colony probably wasn't lost at all. White wasn't confused. He had a working theory instantly. The word lost came from us centuries later. We filled the gap with mystery because the ending felt incomplete. So what really happened to 117 people? Let's break it down. In 1998, researchers studied ancient trees instead of bones. Bald cypress trees near Roanoke can live over 800 years. Their growth rings record centuries of rainfall history. Scientists cord these trees and read the pattern. The colonists landed during the worst drought in 800 years. Freshwater wells would have turned salty and undrinkable. Crops would have failed across the entire region. Native tribes were starving too, not just being hostile. That explains why neighbors refused to share food supplies. 20 years later, Jamestown landed in an even longer drought. Same coastline, same catastrophic timing twice in a row. England may have picked the worst possible decade to colonize. Growing evidence supports the simplest reading of that carving. The colonists likely went to Croatoan, now called Hatteras. Since 2009, researchers have excavated old Croatoan village sites. They found a gold signet ring engraved with a lion. Only an English nobleman would have owned that ring. They also found an iron rapier handle and a gun lock. Trade tokens matched ones found at the original Roanoke fort. Brass buttons and Tudor-style window glass turned up too. Square post holes appeared mixed among round Native American ones. English buildings used square posts. Native structures never did. None of this was found near Roanoke Island itself. All of it was found exactly where the carving pointed. New findings describe this less as disappearance, more as assimilation. Archaeologist Mark Horton calls it peaceful assimilation. Colonists first tried surviving together in a Hatteras camp. As supplies ran out, structure and order broke down. Small groups drifted into existing Croatoan villages nearby. They weren't prisoners, they were absorbed into a community. English families were likely folded into Native American life. Over generations, vanishing simply meant they stopped being English. That's not vanishing. That's quiet, gradual assimilation. Not every historian accepts the fully peaceful version. Some artifacts near Roanoke date to the mid-1600s. That's decades after the colonists originally disappeared. Did some colonists survive for years before dying off? Jamestown-era colonist William Strachey recorded a darker rumor. Some Roanoke settlers were allegedly killed by Chief Powhatan. A prophecy warned Powhatan a rival nation would rise there. Even people alive a generation later disagreed on the ending. Maybe there wasn't one ending, maybe there were several. In the 1930s, the Dare stones surfaced publicly. They claimed to be messages carved by Eleanor Dare herself. Newspapers ran wild with the dramatic, detailed story. A university professor authenticated dozens of these stones. They were almost certainly a hoax created for money. Later analysis exposed inconsistencies no real 1500s carving would have. When mysteries lack quick closure, someone often fabricates an ending. We call it the lost colony because it sounds catchier. The real truth is messier and far more human. An unpredictable drought no one could have prepared for. A grandfather who couldn't keep his promise in time. Desperate, hungry people who made the only sensible choice available. They walked toward the community willing to help them before. That's not a horror story, that's a survival story. This mystery isn't fully solved, and we should admit that. We have no DNA-confirmed remains from any colonist. No signed diary confirms they safely reached Hatteras. Every piece of evidence points strongly in one direction. None of it is an absolute, undeniable smoking gun. An active archaeological dig is happening on Hatteras right now. Researchers are combining metalwork, radiocarbon, and isotope bone analysis. Every year, this unsolvable mystery becomes a little more solvable. This story may already be outdated again within 5 years. Real research isn't one dramatic reveal. It's slow, steady progress. Roanoke's colonists didn't vanish into thin air. They left behind a clear note for us. It took 400 years, ancient trees, and careful digging to read it. Subscribe for more deep dives backed by real research. There are a dozen more unsolved mysteries science is quietly cracking. Which mystery should we dig into next? Comment below.